Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. Today, I'm talking about Marathon Digital Holdings, ticker symbol MARA. This is a stock that you know that I've put $20,000 of my own money in just like 3 to 4 weeks ago, and I have seen that money appreciate in such a significant way. As a reminder, MARA or Marathon Digital Holdings is a Bitcoin mining stock that's primarily or pretty much every single thing of what they do. And this stock has been the benefactor of watching Bitcoin's massive rally over the last month or so, going all the way today to $31,070. This is something that us crypto bulls or Bitcoin bulls have been waiting for. We're anticipating it. And in my opinion, this is just the start. And unsurprisingly, today we are seeing MARA hit another 2023 all-time high of $17 a share. As you guys remember, I think I told you guys that I made my $20,000 bet video on MARA, and I released it, I think, back when the price was around $12. My average cost of MARA is around $8, slightly above. So I'm sitting at over double my investment. My call options aren't, they're not as sort of double because of the way the beta works on call options. But for the most part, I'm up, I'd say like 90% so far on my investment, which is incredible in just 4 weeks. And like I said, I'm not selling here because I'm expecting Bitcoin to get all the way to around $37,000 around here. I don't have it drawn here, but that's sort of I think it's a 0.76 Fibonacci. I will make some videos on Bitcoin and talk about why I'm so bullish on that specifically in the future. And when I do, I'll come back here. I'll link all these videos. So if you're not watching this live, which I'm sure many of you aren't, you'll be able to come back here. But super pumped, super happy for those of you who have gotten into MARA. I see Andy Terps here in the chat. Andy has been investing in MARA as well as so have many of you. Congratulations, this is fantastic. But don't forget, this is not the end. We have tons more room ahead of us. That being said, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me in all the tech that you see above the screen. But most importantly, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take any of this as financial advice. You got to do your own research. You got to do your own due diligence. Everyone can, like any idiot, can turn on a camera and start talking about stocks. You want to make sure that you're not listening to any of us blindly. We're sort of documenting our own journey. Go out there and do your own research. I hope in my videos, I sort of open your eyes and sort of you see sort of what's out there and what's available. And then you can go out and do the research and find out, hey, is this sort of like makes sense? Is this accurate? Does this fit my risk profile? Maybe talk to one of your own financial advisors who can sort of help you out here. Andy's saying here he loves MARA, and MARA, there is no end. That's right. You know what? MARA hit $90 on the last bull cycle for Bitcoin. And if you know anything about Bitcoin, you know that sort of every sort of cycle you have a huge parabolic move upwards. Then you have a 30-40% retracement. In this case, I think we went down to $18,000 per Bitcoin at one point, and now we're sitting at almost close to double, maybe like a little less than double that amount. And we're expecting Bitcoin to sort of reach around like 80 to 100K in the next 2 to 3 years. That's sort of financial estimates. I'm going to make a video on Bitcoin explaining that in the future. One of the other things I want to sort of address here is Ape Love Ape brings up a really good point. MARA is not the only Bitcoin mining stock out there. There are tons. There's CleanSpark, there's Riot, there's backed holdings, tons. Now backed holdings is definitely an undervalued crypto stock. Maybe I'll do a video on all the other Bitcoin miners later. It's sitting around $400 million market cap. And yeah, there's a potential of a massive run up. But the reason that stock will run up is more in parallel with sort of all of the other stocks. MARA and Riot are the two biggest Bitcoin mining stocks. And as such, if I was going to invest, That's like sort of investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum versus investing in all of the other altcoins, right? So these things are fine and fantastic that we brought up, but in my opinion, my faith and sort of my conviction sticks with the bigger players in the space. And we can actually see that come to fruition with Vanguard. So Vanguard had this announcement came out today. They now own $560 million worth of Bitcoin mining stocks. So don't forget, Vanguard sort of has their hand in like sort of every sort of industry. They sort of manage $7.2 trillion, right? So the market cap for crypto right now is sitting around like 1.4 trillion, I think. 7.2 trillion is all of the other assets they managed completely. And 560 million is Bitcoin mining. That's such a small fraction. So what they've done is they've upped their exposure to Bitcoin mining companies. And this came out in Monday filings with the SEC. And that sort of increases their stake in the industry to over $500 million, right? So they have bought a ton of Mara shares. In fact, they've bought a little over 6.6 million shares to increase their holdings by 60%. If this doesn't get you super bullish on Marathon Digital Holdings, I'm not sure what will. Vanguard not sitting there. Remember, Vanguard has a bunch of these index funds. They're not going out here and buying a bunch of garbage companies. They see the value proposition of Mara, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But Mara, as you know, trades on the NASDAQ under ticker Mara. At the time of this article, was trading for $16 a share. It's now trading for $17 in the after hours. Not only did Vanguard buy some Mara shares, but they increased their shares of Riot, in this case, to 1/3 of the amount, only 18%, right? So in this case, they bought 2.7 million Riot blockchain shares and 6.6 million Mara shares, right? So this is funny because if you look at the videos from back in the day, all of these big wigs and executives have talked for so long about how cryptocurrency investments are weak and they're sort of very speculative. And now every single one of them is sort of getting into it. The BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, he was on record for saying Bitcoin was like garbage years ago. And now he's saying it's an international asset, right? Remember, BlackRock is the largest asset manager, and they have $9.5 trillion worth of assets under management. And now they have applied for a Bitcoin ETF. This is incredible news, and this is very, very bullish for Bitcoin, very, 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 very bullish for cryptocurrency. BlackRock also is the second largest investor in Mara with 8.6 million shares, right? So based on what BlackRock has done, a lot of other fund managers have also applied for a Bitcoin ETF, sending the price of the cryptocurrency to a year high. Now, the reason I bring this up is I own a bunch of Mara shares, but I also own Bitcoin. Don't forget, there is not, I think there's like 21 or 24 million. I always get the numbers confused. I think there's 21 million Bitcoin available. 3 million Bitcoin are lost to sort of issues. You want to own your own Bitcoin as well, because that asset is going to be incredibly valuable in the future, and you can own fractions of it. One of the things I talked to my wife about is just buying a portion of Bitcoin every single paycheck. Just, buy it, put it on like a ledger, like you can see here. So it's just sitting in the ledger. And then every so often, I'm just stacking. And long-term wise, this is an incredible wealth or life-changing wealth opportunity. So the reason these Bitcoin miners are very important is there's only about 3 million Bitcoin left to be mined. And there's all supposed to be mined by the end of 2040. But not only do they mine Bitcoin, many of the smart ones, instead of just selling the Bitcoin, they sit there with the Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And that's exactly what Marathon does. So if you look at Marathon right here, right now, they are producing 979 Bitcoin sort of in that quarter, with an average 32.6 Bitcoin produced per day. And if we look at sort of their financials, right? So this is how we evaluate a company. It's very important. We have $113.7 million sitting in restricted or unrestricted cash, and then 12,538 unrestricted BTC holdings. The reason this is important is because as the price of Bitcoin increases, not only you are increasing two levers, right? Number one, their earning potential just becomes so much, the magnitude is higher, right? Because so let's say that you're able to make $30,000 times 32.6, right? So that's like almost $1 million, right? Almost $1 million per day. Now instead of making $1 million a day, maybe you're making 2 million, 3 million, $4 million a day with the Bitcoin you're creating. Not just that, but also the Bitcoin that you're holding, which is 12,538, right? In this case, this is like about $370 million worth of Bitcoin on your balance sheet. That amount continues to skyrocket too, right? So this makes Mara so valuable. And as the price of Bitcoin increases, like we're seeing right here, what that does is it pushes the actual value of the company and their future earning potential. And this is why companies like BlackRock and Vanguard are like, we're not going to sit on the sidelines. We're going to keep sort of adding to our position, because they realize this is an incredible, and it would be a really stupid thing for them to overlook this opportunity. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Mara hitting all-time highs is fantastic. If we see a pullback, or if you want to keep adding to your Mara shares on the long term, I don't see why that's a bad idea. Like, I wouldn't say not to do it. My recommendation, however, is just like you would do it with Bitcoin. If you are buying Mara digital holdings, just dollar cost average over time. Remember, Bitcoin is not sort of like a momentous occasion. We're not sitting here waiting for a short squeeze, right? What's happening is with Bitcoin, we expect the value of Bitcoin to increase over time. Whether you're sitting looking at a 3-month horizon, 1-year horizon, 5-year horizon, 10-year horizon, the value of Bitcoin will continue to increase. So I am betting on Bitcoin in multiple ways. One is through my investment in Bitcoin miners, predominantly Mara. And then second is by investing directly in the cryptocurrency market through buying Bitcoin, by buying Ethereum, by buying the other top 20 altcoins. And I'm hoping that this has been a very fruitful investment, and I will see that continue to grow over time. Anyways, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Sort of the analysis. What I will be doing is I am going to be sitting there and I'm going to sort of document all of the Mara videos I have made in the past. I'm going to put them into a playlist so that if you're watching this video, at the end of this video, there's going to be a link to all those Marathon Digital sort of videos. And then I'm going to start making videos on Bitcoin, sort of my price targets. I'm going to chart it out for you so you see exactly where we're at, where we're going to go, where the retracements are, and everything like that. Because if I can only pick 3 things that I'm bullish on in the world to invest in, it's Bitcoin, it's Mara, and it's Tesla stock. If I'm only allowed to invest in 3 things, those would be it. And I would put everything I own toward those if I didn't have any other opportunities. Of course, my risk, I'm a little more risk averse than that. So I have money in Apple, in Disney, those safe stocks and everything like that. But this is kind of how I see the future turning out. And Andrew Turpin is right. Vanguard needs to share some shares, right? They're taking so many of them. As these companies start picking them up, you think Vanguard's the only one in BlackRock? No. Other institutions are looking and saying, hey, we want to get in too. And you know who else is looking? Every retail investor who sees that news article is going to sit there and go, hey, you know what? If BlackRock and Vanguard, sort of two of some of the most conservative asset management companies, are buying into it, why would they not do it, right? Loving that there's a color difference on every video. Haha. Do the lights have a party mode on? You know what? I've set up the light so they can play with the music at the end. It's not set up for like my computer music, but it's set up for my phone music, so it starts like sort of bebopping. I'm gonna buy some more cool things for the channel, like a Philips Hue lighting system to make everything like, so right now the color is very like muted to one area. It's gonna be the entire room, and I'll show it up. But yeah, Andy, thank you so much for always paying, thank you always for sort of watching. Thank you for sort of having that conviction, and congratulations on your Mara investment. For everybody else, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Check out the videos in the end screen, and I'll see you in the next video.